Dorian making landfall over the Abaco Islands. Catastrophic flooding, destruction over part of the Bahamas. The Category 5 hurricane churning over Grand Bahama for 24 hours. Many there struggling to return to normal. And now, a new storm to weather with COVID-19. From new ways to prepare to unique ways to stay informed. Things are different, but our team of meteorologists is still here, taking action for you. This is Stormwatch 2020.
Hi, I'm ABC Action News Chief Meteorologist Dennis Phillips. Welcome to Stormwatch 2020. For the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking action for you to help keep you and your family safe this upcoming hurricane season. As Floridians, we all know how rough 2020 has already been, dealing with the serious impacts of the coronavirus. We're broadcasting from Safety Harbor instead of our studios this year to continue with social distancing. And yet, as the season approaches, we all know it only takes just one storm, so it's so important to keep your family safe and prepared. This year, we're faced with a new obstacle when it comes to stocking our hurricane kits. Take a look at this video. Coronavirus concerns, leaving grocery store shelves empty and companies struggling to restock. So how do you stock your hurricane kit when supplies are low? Our meteorologist Greg D did some digging to find the answers.
Having a well-stocked hurricane kit means including things such as flashlights, batteries, a radio, maybe some simple tools, and of course, non-perishable food items. And with the pandemic this year, some of these items have become difficult to obtain. But there are ways to get your hands on some of these essentials. Purchasing these items in store this year before the hurricane season has been challenging because of limited store hours and capacities. And although Amazon.com is the most popular place to order online, some items may not arrive for weeks because of limited availability. Now, a good backup to Amazon is eBay. I found several items there matching those on Amazon with not just quicker shipping, but also much lower prices. Outside of online orders, try hardware stores. Many offer free shipping or shipping to the store where you can pick up curbside and have your items placed in the trunk of your car without making contact with anyone. Pharmacies and grocery stores may also have some of the same features that allow you to ship the items to store and then pick them up curbside. And don't forget apps such as Instacart that allow you to have things from those grocery stores delivered to your home and left in the front of your door. New in your hurricane kit this year, some emergency managers are suggesting two new items. A large bottle of hand sanitizer, this could be a while to get, and a cloth mask, the one you've been using so far during the pandemic, just in case the coronavirus makes a return later this fall when it is still hurricane season. We put the complete list of all the necessary items at abcactionnews.com and in our app. In Tampa, Greg D, ABC Action News.
Okay, so let's recap what you should have in that hurricane kit. Water. You should have 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 days. Food. A 3-day supply of non-perishable food is recommended. Batteries, cell phone chargers, and a flashlight. And new this year, some counties are encouraging you to have extra hand sanitizer and cloth face coverings, like masks. We have a full list for you on abcactionnews.com/hurricane. We'll get to how hurricane shelters are changing in just a minute. But before we do, you have to know which shelter you need to go to. You need your specific locations. And more importantly, you need to know what you can bring and what you can't bring. Some shelters allow pets, some don't. So be sure to go to abcactionnews.com/hurricane for your county-by-county breakdown. COVID-19 is forcing the state to get very creative in their hurricane plans. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders gives us a glimpse of what they have in mind.
Though Florida's reopening is already underway, the governor telling us last month the state has to prepare for the worst, a COVID-hurricane combo.
Hurricanes, we assume there's going to be hurricanes every year. I mean, that's just the reality. That's what we have to do.
To that end, Florida's Emergency Management Director, Jared Moskowitz, has been tasked with developing first-of-their-kind policies aimed at protecting residents while preventing infection.
The signs and the models show by the heart of hurricane season, this should all be over and calm down, but that's not how emergency management works.
For weeks, Moskowitz has had a team contracted with consulting firms to answer the big questions. If a storm hits, they want to know how to get sick people to safety, where to place them, and how to keep others safe.
We got to write plans and come up with protocols for things that may never even happen.
Some ideas being considered: testing for COVID-19 at storm shelters, using specific sites for infected, even the potential of securing hotel space to ensure those unable to afford a safe place are socially distant.
Let's just hope that that we don't have one. That would be great, but I think it would be irresponsible for us to put our chips in that basket. So we are assuming that we're going to have to deal with some type of storm.
There is one thing state officials definitely won't see in 2020: a governor's hurricane conference. The annual expo to prep local emergency management teams has been canceled due to the virus.
Stormwatch allows us to take a look back at the previous year's hurricanes. 2019 marked Hurricane Dorian as one of the strongest hurricanes ever to hit the Bahamas. Our meteorologist Shay Ryan has a look back.
In 2019, Hurricane Dorian will be remembered most for devastating islands in the Bahamas, with Cat 5 sustained winds peaking at 185 miles per hour. After moving over the Abaco Islands on September 1st, it stalled just north of Grand Bahama for over 24 hours, causing catastrophic damage to structures. At least 77 deaths, with over 275 still missing at the end of the year, and over 70,000 left homeless. While Dorian was stalled out near the Bahamas, there were a few days of uncertainty as to what its eventual path would be, so the entire state of Florida prepared for the storm. It ended up that it made a sharp turn to the north, remaining about 100 miles off the east coast of Florida, and didn't cause our state any major damage. By September 6th, Dorian weakened to a Cat 1 storm and made landfall in Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, bringing 90-mile-per-hour winds, substantial flooding, structural damage, power outages, and 3 deaths. Dorian then moved northeast, impacting parts of Canada before dissipating in the North Atlantic on September 10th. Shay Ryan, ABC Action News.
Still ahead on Stormwatch 2020, we're going county by county. Preparing for a storm in a pandemic is something we've never seen. So we're checking in with leaders on both sides of the bay to find out what they're doing differently this year to keep us all safe. Plus, better storm tracking happening in the Bay Area, the major expansion at a local airport helping NOAA scientists. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the new storm names for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. We've already had Tropical Storms Arthur, and today Tropical Storm Bertha formed off the South Carolina coast. That's followed by Cristobal, Dolly, and Edward. Across Tampa Bay, plans for hurricane season are changing almost daily as we learn more about COVID-19 and its impact on evacuation zones and shelters. And as Haley Bull reports, it's all about making those plans early.
With COVID-19, it's been challenging in that sense that we're basically preparing and continuing to respond to 2 different emergencies.
It's unlike any hurricane season we've ever seen. Social distancing, masks, and COVID-19 all playing a role in how to respond and prepare if a hurricane were to hit Tampa Bay.
We really try to say, it's not a cruise ship, it's a lifeboat. It should be that last sort of line there. You don't necessarily want to end up being in a shelter.
Plans for shelters across the state are still in the works, but officials say see if you have other options like hotels, friends, and family members, as long as they are a few miles out of any evacuation zone.
The public shelters should really be the last option that people utilize. We're going to encourage people to try to find hand sanitizer, and if they have cloth masks or some type of mask, to be able to put that in their hurricane kits, regardless of where they go shelter, so they can protect themselves.
And there could be changes to evacuations too.
The other things that we are looking at is, storm surge, and we're going to be working with our floodplain managers, and we're working with the Regional Planning Council to really look at, the storm surge that we could have for the different storm scenarios. That actually might help us reduce the amount of people that we do have to call to evacuate.
And when it comes to preparing, many families are struggling to keep food on the table during this pandemic, let alone have enough for a hurricane kit. something Pinellas County leaders are taking seriously.
And it's really challenging right now for a lot of people. So we want to, try to put as much support in place as we can to help people that might need those additional assistance to help them out as we move forward.
If a storm does approach, leaders say the best option is staying informed, having a plan, and to continue following CDC guidelines.
The staying informed is really going to be critical this year because right now I can't tell you all the places that we're going to open or how we're going to do some of the sheltering. So there might be some changes as we go through hurricane season and we're able to gel up more of those plans.
Haley Bull, ABC Action News.
USF researchers are now studying the pandemic's impact on storm shelters. The team received a grant to study protocols and staffing for prevention in these shelters right now. They're speaking with experts on current plans and addressing any possible public health concerns.
Exploring various opportunities and options in terms of sheltering. Do we need to start looking at expanding and identifying more shelter locations? What does that kind of look like in terms of what we have already in place and then building that out?
There's a lot of research that's done over at USF that impacts us. USF's College of Public Health works year-round with our local and state leaders to work on developing plans to meet the needs of the community, not just in emergency situations. You can read more about what they're doing at abcactionnews.com/hurricane. In April, NOAA announced a major expansion right here in the Bay Area. And as ABC Action News reporter Andrea Lyon reports, that could lead to a significant improvement in hurricane forecasting accuracy.
Heading into the unknown, tracking hurricanes, helping us get back on our feet.
Their mission is critical.
NOAA guides our nation's weather departments through it all.
This right here is 2 a.m. on Monday.
One fleet stationed right here in the Bay Area.
I mean, we are treated like royalty on the airfield.
Including 9 data collecting aircraft, including the hurricane hunters. Not only is NOAA promising to stay in Lakeland for another 2 decades.
This solidifies their existence here at this airport for the next 20 years.
They're also bringing in extra muscle.
The new jet will actually bring more of that punch to the table.
Like the $40 million Gulfstream G550.
It brings a higher altitude, so we can get that extra 5,000 or 6,000 feet of data, which is really important to the modelers. It's really important to the Hurricane Center.
In a small but mighty twin-engine Beechcraft King Air used for coastal mapping and surveying.
The new King Air has the ability to go faster, longer, higher, and support more of a payload.
But unfortunately, hurricane season is just around the corner. And, these folks need to get back to work and get aircraft ready to go and protect the United States and the East Coast.
And with tight quarters, a much larger hangar, 156,000 square feet, will be up in operation by February of 2021.
There's going to be some improvements when we join the 2 spaces.
Andrea Lyon, ABC Action News.
2020 has already brought Florida record warmth, but will that lead to a more active hurricane season? Our meteorologist Jason Adams is up next with the answer.
Welcome back to Storm Watch 2020. I'm meteorologist Shay Ryan, and I'm here in Studio C to tell you about a new resource that will help you stay informed this hurricane season. In 2019, we launched the free ABC Action News 24/7 streaming news channel. It's your streaming source for live news and weather as it happens. And this hurricane season will be right here tracking any storms that form any time of the day. The best part is it's free, and you can take it anywhere to stay informed if you need to evacuate. So here's how you can find our streaming news channel. Download the free ABC Action News app on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or Apple TV. If you have a Roku, select Add Channel and then just click on the icon to launch. Our news and weather will automatically play. We have instructions for other streaming devices on our website, abcactionnews.com. Bringing you real-time updates on the news and weather that impacts your family is just another way we're taking action for you.
So now here's something you can do while spending more time at home right now. Check your insurance documents. Go over with an agent what you have covered and what you don't. Make sure you have enough insurance to repair or even replace your home in the event of a storm. And the same goes for your car or boat, too.
Videotape your home and all of its contents and store it in the cloud. Know what you have so you don't have to guess about it after it's gone.
Now keep in mind, hurricane deductibles range from 2 to 5%, which means you could still be paying $1,000 out of pocket. And as you're going through your insurance, make sure you have a plan. Write down your hurricane plan now, including evacuation orders for your area, locations to ride out the storm, and what supplies you may need. Keep all your important documents in a folder. That way you can just grab it if you need to. Those documents can include things like Social Security cards, birth certificates, and insurance documents. With an above-average hurricane season expected, a lot of folks are wondering how warmer temperatures and, more importantly, warmer waters come into play with that. Our meteorologist Jason Adams has the answer.
2020 has been known for its hotter than average temperatures here in the Sunshine State. We saw record heat each month, with not only many record high temperatures being tied or broken, but also record warm low temperatures. March was one of the driest and warmest on record, leading to significant temperature anomalies in the Gulf of Mexico. With hurricane season looming, many of you have asked if the record heat will lead to more active hurricane season in the Gulf of Mexico. The answer to that question is no simple yes or no. For a hurricane to develop in the Gulf, it would need several ingredients to come together. Some of them, 80-degree water temperatures, low pressure at the surface, high pressure aloft, no dry air, and no wind shear, are just to name a few. So to simply look at just water temperatures to answer that question, it's just not enough information. Dr. Philip Klotzbach, a hurricane researcher from Colorado State University, said, Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures are plenty warm every year to support nasty hurricanes. Thankfully, most years, other conditions such as wind shear, dry air, and disturbances are not conducive for hurricane formation and intensification in this region. So in conclusion, there's no concrete evidence to suggest that the warmer temperatures we've seen so far this year will contribute to a more active hurricane season in the Gulf. There are just too many factors that determine if a storm system for any particular region will be more or less active. What it does tell us, however, is that the warmer the water, the more intense a storm could become. Warmer water will also contribute to a more significant amount of moisture the storm could bring on shore with it, leading to potential catastrophic flooding, especially if that storm is a slow mover. Meteorologist Jason Adams, ABC Action News.
It's important to recognize your flood zone. Flooding can happen at any time in Tampa Bay, not just during a hurricane. If you're in a high-risk flood zone, you may need flood insurance. And listen to this. If you live in an area with a low or moderate flood risk, you are 5 times more likely to experience flooding than a fire over the next 30 years. Know your flood zone and evacuation zone now, so you're prepared if an emergency arises. We have a link on abcactionnews.com/hurricane. Here's some other simple advice to help with communication wherever you're hunkering down. Use text messages, social media, and email to stay in touch with family and friends. Text messages require far less bandwidth, so they're usually more reliable during a storm. Have an emergency charging option for your phone, like a battery-powered charger. And be sure to back up your computer to protect photos and important documents to a cloud or an external hard drive. We all know how important it is to protect your home and to be ready for hurricane season. But coming up next, we'll let you know what you need to do just hours before the storm arrives. Plus, one device, countless options. Greg D shows us the gadget you may want to include in your hurricane kit and where you can find it. Welcome back to Stormwatch 2020. Making an evacuation plan is one of the most important things you can do to get ready for hurricane season. But when a storm approaches, there's plenty of things you can do just hours before to protect your home. First, bring in any unsecured items that can be picked up by the wind, like bicycles and lawn furniture. Also, close your windows, doors, and hurricane shutters if you have them. It's also important to fill your car's gas tank. Don't wait until lines build at the gas station. But as always, obey any evacuation orders from our leaders. And if coronavirus has taught us anything, it's that we are in tough times together. So don't forget to check in with your neighbors before and after a storm. Help them collect supplies, assist with an evacuation if necessary, and check on them after the storm when it's safe to do so. There are all kinds of devices out there that help to make your life a little bit easier when preparing your hurricane kit. Meteorologist Greg D has one that covers all the bases.
Space is limited in most hurricane kits. If you're going to add a device to it, you want something that covers all the bases. And I've got just such a device. This is something from Eaton. It's a radio, but it's really much more than that. Check it out. So it really includes 2 flashlights, one in the front for bright light and a second light at the top that illuminates any room. In the top, you've got controls for your obvious AM/FM radio, an antenna to get good reception, as well as access to weather band radio, which allows you to listen to weather service updates, very important in a critical weather situation. It also has Bluetooth function. You can connect your phone or iPad or computer to it and stream music and other news right through the device. If you don't have Bluetooth, you could also plug in an auxiliary port or listen to that sound through a pair of headphones. It does have a rechargeable battery inside, but you don't have to charge it that way. You can also use the manual crank in the front to charge it like this. Several minutes of cranking will give you almost an hour worth of use. And if that's not enough, you can also charge it using the large solar panel in the back. 5 to 6 hours of light will charge this thing fully. And if you've got charge left over after using it, you can use this port right here to charge another phone or iPad with some juice to keep you going through the storm. Check it out. The device is from Eaton and it's available in most online stores.
You know, we've learned over the years it isn't all about just getting the weather right during hurricane season. Sure, it's important, but we've also learned when a storm is on the way, folks need more than an accurate forecast. They need a friend, someone who can help them through the storm. And that's how we learned with our hurricane rules. Rule number 7, don't freak out unless I'm freaking out, we're fine. More than anything, that's so important to remember, because if you're going to make a decision for your family or your friends, you need to have a clear head. You can't be freaking out. So whether or not the storm is 1,000 miles away or 1,000 yards away, you need to keep your head clear. Thanks for joining us for Stormwatch 2020. Remember, ABC Action News is there for you 24/7 during hurricane season and any other time of the year. You can check us out on air, online, or on our streaming news channel. And as always, we're in this together.